For many people living in Arizona, APS is the only game in town when it comes to electricity. But what if it wasn't? State regulators looking into the possibility of more competition, allowing more companies to sell you power. But investigator Courtney Holmes found that process is easier said than done.
Somebody's got to generate the power, get it to you, then sell it to you. Right now, APS does all three. But for the past several months, commissioners have been figuring out if it makes sense to allow other companies to compete. From the smart thermostat,
the house is comfortable,
to the Christmas tree.
These LED lights.
Ken Sturgis of Phoenix is serious about slashing his power bill, but he wonders what the savings could be if he had a choice in which company provided it.
Just like cable costs, your TV costs.
Arizona Corporation Commissioner Justin Olson is leading the effort to look into just that.
I think that it's time that Arizonans have that opportunity to choose who will provide power to their home.
In the early 2000s, California tried it and failed. The resulting energy crisis marked by market manipulation, blackouts, and bankruptcies. 20 years later, Olson says lessons have been learned. 14 states in the District of Columbia now have some form of competition.
What we've seen in Texas is that rates from 2008 to 2018 actually fell by 20%, which is remarkable. During that same time, rates in Arizona increased by over 20%.
We believe that competition is good.
That's former Texas lawmaker Steve Woolens, author of that state's competition law in place since 2002.
Here in Dallas, I had one business that I could buy my electricity from.
He's still a believer today.
Now there are 135 different businesses.
Regulators there run a website where consumers can shop for hundreds of plans. Search by estimated use, price per kilowatt hour, even generation source.
You can tell your electric retail provider to give you only green energy.
But critics say it's not all good.
Be a math genius to figure out how to find the lowest rate.
That's Dave Lieber, watchdog columnist for the Dallas Morning News. He says confused consumers have been contacting him for years.
The electricity companies have figured out how to game the system.
Lieber points to that website we talked about earlier and calls many of those low prices introductory.
Once the contract expires in 3, 6, 12, 24 months, the rates will jump.
Then there are the hidden fees. Some plans
charge you to talk to a live person on the telephone.
Others charge a penalty when you don't use enough power.
And that upsets a lot of people because here we are trying to conserve electricity.
For fiscal year 2019, Texas had more than 5,500 electricity-related complaints or inquiries. That's according to a report from the Texas Coalition for Affordable Power. 46% were about billing. And with so many companies operating, scammers have plenty of places to hide. Warnings about fake websites and shady door-to-door salesmen.
When the bill comes, it's twice as much as you were promised.
Lieber's advice to regulators?
To have the tightest regulatory rules known to mankind. Because these companies are smarter than you, and they will come in and they will game the system 50 different ways.
Olson says he and Commissioner Bob Burns are still drafting potential rules to avoid pitfalls, hoping to convince the commission and the public to get on board. Ken is already there.
That's something that is really needed in Arizona.
Under Olson's plans, co-ops and nonprofits like SRP could be invited to join the competitive market, but not required to. The commission's holding a meeting about competition on December the 19th. In the newsroom, Courtney Holmes, ABC 15, Arizona.